Have you ever woken up from a nightmare so terrifying that you couldn't shake the feeling someone was watching you? What if I told you that dream wasn't just your imagination running wild, but an actual spiritual encounter with beings from the unseen realm? In Islam, we learn that not all dreams come from our subconscious mind. Some dreams, the most disturbing ones, actually originate from the jinn, invisible creatures made of smokeless fire who share our world but exist beyond our normal perception. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, revealed that dreams fall into 3 distinct categories, and today we're going to expose the shocking truth about one of them that most people never talk about. From which country are you watching this video? If you're passionate about understanding the deeper mysteries of Islamic wisdom, hit that subscribe button right now, because we're about to uncover secrets that could completely change how you understand your sleep. The first thing that will blow your mind is how Islam perfectly explains the mystery of why some dreams leave you feeling spiritually attacked while others bring you peace. According to authentic hadith narrated by Abu Qatada in Sahih Muslim, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that dreams are of 3 types. The first type comes from Allah as good news and guidance for the believer. The second type comes from our own thoughts and concerns. But the third type, and this is where it gets absolutely terrifying, comes from Satan and the jinn to frighten and disturb the believer. This isn't some medieval superstition. This is divine revelation that explains why some dreams feel like spiritual warfare. But here's what's even more incredible. The characteristics of jinn-influenced dreams are so specific that Islamic scholars throughout history have been able to identify them with shocking accuracy. Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, one of Islam's greatest scholars, documented in his masterwork that these dreams carry distinct signatures that separate them from normal dreams or divine visions. The jinn, being creatures of free will like humans but made of fire rather than clay, have the ability to influence our sleep state in ways that modern science is only beginning to understand. The most obvious characteristic that should immediately alert you to a jinn-originated dream is the presence of overwhelming fear and terror. Unlike normal nightmares that usually relate to our daily anxieties, jinn dreams create a specific type of dread that feels supernatural. You wake up with your heart pounding, covered in sweat, and you can't shake the feeling that something evil was actually present in your room. Islamic scholars explain that this happens because the jinn deliberately target our spiritual defenses when they're weakest, which is during sleep, when our conscious prayers and remembrance of Allah are suspended. What makes this even more disturbing is how these dreams often feature themes that directly contradict Islamic teachings. The jinn, particularly those who follow Satan, use dreams to plant seeds of doubt about Allah, to make forbidden things appear attractive, or to create fear about death and the afterlife. Shaykh Ibn Baz, may Allah have mercy on him, explained that these dreams might show images of shirk, encourage sinful behavior, or present distorted versions of Islamic practices. The goal is always to weaken the believer's faith and create spiritual confusion. Another terrifying characteristic is the way these dreams feel more real than reality itself. Normal dreams usually have a hazy, disconnected quality, where logic doesn't quite work and scenes shift randomly. But jinn dreams often have a hyper-realistic quality that makes you question whether it was actually a dream. You remember every detail with crystal clarity. The conversations feel real, the physical sensations feel genuine, and the emotional impact lingers for days or even weeks. This happens because the jinn, as spiritual beings, can interact with our souls in ways that bypass our normal dream mechanisms. Perhaps the most unsettling characteristic is how these dreams often include direct communication with entities that claim to be deceased relatives, saints, or even prophets. The jinn are master deceivers, and they use our love and respect for our departed family members to gain access to our hearts. They might appear as your grandmother giving you advice that contradicts Islamic teachings, or as a supposed saint offering you spiritual shortcuts that bypass the Quran and Sunnah. Islamic scholars warn that no matter how convincing these dream figures appear, if their message contradicts authentic Islamic teachings, it's a clear sign of jinn deception. The physical characteristics of these dreams are equally disturbing. Many people report feeling paralyzed during jinn dreams, unable to move or speak even when they're aware they're dreaming. Others experience the sensation of being touched, pulled, or even physically attacked by unseen forces. Some people wake up with unexplained marks, scratches, or bruises. While not all sleep paralysis is caused by jinn, Islamic tradition recognizes that these creatures can interact with our physical bodies during sleep in ways that leave real evidence. What's absolutely fascinating is how these dreams often attack specific aspects of Islamic practice. If you're someone who's been consistent in your 5 daily prayers, you might suddenly start having dreams where you're committing major sins or where prayer seems impossible to perform. If you've been growing closer to the Quran, you might dream of burning or destroying copies of the Holy Book. The jinn study their targets and craft dreams that specifically target areas of spiritual strength, trying to create guilt, fear, and distance from Allah. But here's where Islamic wisdom becomes truly remarkable. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, didn't just warn us about these dreams. He gave us specific tools to protect ourselves and neutralize their effects. In authentic hadith found in both Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, he taught us that when you experience what you suspect is a jinn dream, you should immediately seek refuge in Allah by saying, A'udhu billahi min ash-shaytani rajim, spit dryly to your left 3 times, and change the side you were sleeping on. This isn't just spiritual advice, it's a practical spiritual technology that cuts the connection between you and the interfering jinn. The science behind this is absolutely mind-blowing. When you wake up and immediately remember Allah, you're switching your consciousness from a vulnerable sleep state back to a state of spiritual protection. The act of seeking Allah's protection creates a barrier that the jinn cannot penetrate. This is why the Prophet, peace be upon him, emphasized that we should never tell anyone about these bad dreams because sharing them can actually strengthen their negative impact and give the jinn more power over our thoughts. What makes Islamic dream interpretation so advanced is how it perfectly balances spiritual reality with practical psychology. Modern sleep researchers are discovering that our mental state before sleep directly affects our dream content, which aligns perfectly with Islamic teachings about the importance of sleeping in a state of remembrance of Allah. When you go to bed after reciting Ayat al-Kursi, the last 2 verses of Surah al-Baqarah, and the 3 Quls, you're creating spiritual protection that makes it much harder for jinn to interfere with your dreams. The timing patterns of jinn dreams are also incredibly revealing. Islamic scholars note that these disturbing dreams often occur during spiritually significant periods like Ramadan, when you're making efforts to increase your worship, or when you're going through major life changes. The jinn seem to intensify their attacks when they sense someone growing closer to Allah or when believers are in vulnerable emotional states. Understanding this pattern helps you recognize that spiritual attacks through dreams often indicate you're moving in the right direction spiritually. But here's what should give every Muslim incredible hope and confidence. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, has given us complete protection against jinn interference when we use the tools He's provided. The morning and evening supplications, or adkar, create a shield of divine protection that extends into our sleep. When you consistently recite Bismillah before every action, maintain your 5 daily prayers, and keep your heart filled with remembrance of Allah, the jinn lose their ability to significantly affect your dreams. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, also taught us that good dreams from Allah will always align perfectly with Islamic teachings and bring peace to the heart. These divine dreams often contain guidance, comfort, or glad tidings that strengthen your faith and encourage you toward good deeds. Learning to distinguish between Allah's guidance, your own thoughts, and jinn deception in dreams is a crucial skill for every Muslim who wants to navigate the spiritual realm safely. What's absolutely incredible is how this Islamic understanding of dreams is finding support in modern neuroscience research. Scientists are discovering that our brains are much more active during certain sleep phases and that external influences can affect dream content in ways they're still trying to understand. While they can't measure jinn activity, they're confirming that the sleep state is far more complex and susceptible to influence than previously thought. The most powerful protection against jinn dreams comes from maintaining a strong relationship with Allah throughout your waking hours. When your heart is constantly connected to your Creator through prayer, Quran recitation, and dhikr, this spiritual light continues to protect you even during sleep. The scholars explain that a heart filled with the love and remembrance of Allah becomes like a fortress that the jinn cannot easily penetrate. Understanding the characteristics of jinn dreams isn't meant to make you afraid of sleeping. It's meant to empower you with knowledge that helps you maintain spiritual health. When you know how to recognize and respond to these spiritual attacks, they lose their power to disturb your peace. The key is remembering that Allah is always in control, and He has given believers everything they need to protect themselves from all forms of harm, whether physical or spiritual. So the next time you experience a dream that leaves you feeling spiritually attacked, remember that this isn't a sign of weakness or spiritual failure. It's simply confirmation that unseen spiritual battles are real, and Allah has equipped you with divine weapons to win every single one. Your faith, your prayers, your remembrance of Allah, and your knowledge of Islamic protection are more powerful than any jinn who might try to disturb your peace. The beauty of Islamic wisdom is that it never leaves us defenseless against any form of spiritual attack. Whether it's jinn dreams, evil eye, or whispers of Satan, our religion provides complete guidance for protection and victory. When you understand that your dreams can be a battlefield, you also understand that you're fighting with divine weapons that guarantee victory for those who use them correctly. What experiences have you had with dreams that felt spiritually significant? Share in the comments below which country you're from and whether you've noticed patterns in your dreams that align with what we've discussed today. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss these essential Islamic teachings that can transform your spiritual life.